All right. Ready?
Yeah.
I just looked at it again. That's good.
Welcome to the episode, guys. We're
You're
back
gonna
on
have
Zoom.
to blur that. All right.
Yeah,
Do
you
not
can't.
put up what you put on the screen, Kieran.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I think we might have to clear that image by HR. That's definitely not on.
Hang on, I'll ask
but,
her. Meg,
welcome to the show.
Is it alright if we put a picture of an asshole in the podcast? Because you're
This
HR.
one.
So it is a pretty gross looking asshole, but it's
Get
like
in
not
it.
really an asshole.
Get her to come over and have a look.
Come, no, we're not. What the fuck is that? Just make a decision. Oh, okay, she's alright.
All right, so was that a yes? I heard
that
a
a
yes.
yes?
Is that fine?
On the cusp.
Okay,
Alright.
thank God. Thank God.
Cool.
Okay, good.
What
Great.
about
well, now that we've got that out of the way.
I reckon we'll pixelate it, but not completely black it out.
yeah, great. Perfect.
So there you go.
Perfect.
If you're an audio listener, you just missed out on a pixelated butthole on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to be back
look,
on Zoom.
Aren't we all happy to be back here on Zoom? Zoom's
We
great. We love it.
Zooming.
Zoom. As we know, it's the motto of this year. You know, we thought it would be a little period of the show that would be looked back on not very fondly. But instead, what we've come to find is that this is the show, and it will be
is.
the show forever.
Yes, it's the show forever.
Yeah.
I was actually having a bit of a laugh, just a bit of a giggle at lunchtime, thinking. I was talking to Reese, who edits stuff for me, and we were having a bit of a giggle at the fact that this time last year we were all going, next year is going to be much better. And you know what I've been thinking? Next year, like 2022, Lewis, gonna be shit. I'm calling it now.
I hope so.
Gonna be so bad. I hope
it-
it's the worst.
I really do, and I hope that that all doors in everyone's home are just welded shut from the outside.
Yes.
Because I think that's, if we hope for that, we're definitely going to get the opposite. You know.
Because last year at this time of year there was a bit of hope in everyone's step. Melbourne was coming out of lockdown. It looked like the end was near, and then this motherfucker named Delta was like, "Hey, you thought the first one was bad. Check this shit out." And then just infected
I think we
a
should have
limousine
seen that
driver.
coming. Like, I mean, if you have a look at Australia, ever since Delta Goodrum's been on TV, we haven't been able to get rid of her. So
Yes.
Australians and Delta have an intimate relationship, and we have for decades. We can't get rid of it. So
She's been
I think
infecting
that's
this
what we're gonna have to
country
do.
for much longer than Corona has.
Absolutely. What does Delta Goodrum do? Like, she's beautiful. She's probably one of the most beautiful women in the world. But what does she do?
I don't know. She's like Jennifer Hawkins if she played piano, I guess.
But when's it? Does she release music anymore, or does
don't
she
know. I
just
think
critique other people's?
I think her and Guy Sebastian just critique other people's music.
Yeah.
And I mean, all those shows are just a lot of people who aren't doing much. Like Benji Madden. Like, what's Good
Yeah.
Charlotte doing these days? Not much, because Benji's just judging Australian teenagers singing. It's very strange. I saw Rita Ora was on the new one. I got a TikTok ad the other day to find out what was
Rita
happening.
Ora's on it. Some people might remember Rita Ora from our brief celebrity interview. She
Yes.
was lovely.
We are-
And that interview we had, I got to say, I've watched a lot of Rita Ora interviews since. Ours is absolutely up there in the top one.
Yeah, it's short and sharp.
Yeah.
It was under
Who has
10
time
seconds.
for a long interview?
No, not us, that's for sure. We didn't even have time to conduct long interviews. All the actual power to get them on our show. So, and a lot of people have been asking about that June Rats interview, by the way. Just a quick update. We did
Great
interview
news.
the June Rats at the music festival. Terrific
Yeah.
news. Just
Really
'cause
good news.
This year's going well. The SD card corrupted.
Yeah.
We lost it all.
Yes!
Woohoo! And we do have the audio, and we just need to get it run past the record label or something first, because I think some crook things were said by all.
Yeah.
It wasn't just them. It was
Yes.
us. It was a mutual crook experience. We were backstage at a music festival in Queensland next to a porta potty, so the vibe wasn't clean.
No.
So dirty things
Or
were
the
said.
smell.
No, there was nothing clean about the interview, so we just have to run it by the record label. But Lewis, I'm in Perth. Have we done one from Perth yet? I forget where I was last week.
Who cares?
Yeah. I don't even know. I'm just like people like message me now like, where are you going to be next week? I'm like, dude, I don't know. I was supposed to go to Cairns and now they're in lockdown. So who the fuck knows where I'll be in a week?
Man, I thought I was going to be in Adelaide next week. I don't think that's going to be happening.
No, I don't think so.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a rough time, but that's okay. And we'll get through it. I did a show last night. That was awesome. 1,000 people. Biggest show I've ever done.
You seem to be the only comedian in the country that has been able to pull off a tour.
Yeah, but
is there any other comedian that's touring? Frenchie isn't. Isaac did a couple of shows, but is he like actually touring?
Dude,
it seems to be just you.
I'm the only comedian going to great lengths to pull it off. I'm the only one doing 2 weeks of quarantine in Darwin to get to Perth. Like, no one else would bother. Everyone would be like, I'll just cancel the show. Fuck that. Yeah. I think I'm the only psycho willing to do it. I don't know why I'm doing it. I think, you know what? I feel like really bad not like canceling shows. Yes. I feel really bad about it, and that's it. It's not even for the money or anything. I just feel like people like get sad and angry at you, so I'm like, all right, I'll try and do it.
Yeah, I don't know if I had to do something that would result in like a mandatory suicide check phone call, you know, like, hey, just checking in, you all right? If I have to do one of them, I'd be like, man, maybe I'll just do it in November, you know, maybe I'll do the show in November.
Yeah, that's true. We did get the old suicide checkup in lockdown, which was nice.
That's good. I'm glad that they're doing that because the quarantines are tough, especially because you did real quarantine. You know, I'm doing quarantine in Melbourne, but I can leave the house and go for a walk, or I can do something if it's really, really essential. The quarantines for like travelers are nuts.
Yeah,
as they should be.
But I'm pulling it off. It's going well, dude. It was so sick, and it sucked because I was supposed to have Keelan and Lewis there with me. They were supposed to fly over. Lewis was going to open the show. Keelan was going to be there. It was going to be like a big old boys sesh, and
well, yeah, it's what I really wanted to talk about right at the start of this episode is because, you know, we're going to get into some fun stuff, but I really want to say very, very seriously, something amazing has happened recently on the show, and I actually almost beat Keelan in a swimming race recently.
And
I think we need to spend some time and acknowledge that because there's been a really amazing achievement. Like, I know, Luke, You've done a show with 1,000 people. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, no, I totally understand.
Almost smashed Keelan in a swim
That's
race.
not true
Which is
at all.
actually really impressive if it's true, because I've raced Keelan in swimming before, and he smoked me. The man has got some flippin' kicky legs, that's for sure.
We'll get to your show, Luke.
Yeah.
We will, right? But I want to talk about something really impressive, and that is me. No training. Right? No technique.
No training?
Not a single coach lesson from a swimmer.
Are you kidding?
Hey, on
Not
Keelan.
a single one since I was 12. Haven't had a single swim lesson. I jump in the pool.
Keelan's so angry.
We don't have... Keelan's so mad. We go to a swim pool. The first time we've ever swam together. I'm thinking, man, Keelan almost made it to the Olympics. He's an incredible swimmer. All I hear from Keelan is like, man, I'm so good. I'm such a fast swimmer. I'm the Usain Bolt of but wet, right? And white. And I'm thinking, man, Keelan must be great. We time each other. We can't race side by side. So
we
I
just
go, why don't you just
acknowledge
go down to the end of the pool
Can we just
and see
acknowledge
how
that
fast you can do it?
You couldn't name a swimmer, so you was like, you were like, who's fast? And then I'll apply that, but wet.
Yeah. Who's the gay bloke with the big feet? Ian Thorpe. Yeah. Right? That guy. So I'm thinking, man, Keelan's going to smoke me, and that's fine because I'm here to learn, right? That's what I wasn't there to win. I was there to learn from the master, or so I thought. Keelan goes, and I watch him swim. I'm like, man, he's so fast. That's amazing. I wonder if I'll ever be as fast as him. Then I go, Luke, under 2 seconds slower than Keelan. Keelan goes, okay, I think this race we're going to have at the end of the year is going to be much harder than I thought. So, and that's I haven't had a swim lesson since I was 12. So I'm just putting it out there, Luke.
Hang on.
Keelan is going to get embarrassed.
Is there going to be a race? I'll be honest. I forgot to listen to the episode that you guys did together. So I actually have no idea what the fuck was spoken about.
The race is actually an off-air discussion that hasn't become an on-air discussion
Oh,
yet.
okay, yeah. Because I got wind of this off air on a phone call, but I didn't know if you discussed it on the show. So I'll fill it everyone in. So I got wind, right? And you guys are just getting wind of it now. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's wind.
What's that smell?
Oh, I think it's the smell of the potential race that may happen. There was
Luke's
talk.
got wind. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a bit gassy. There was talk of a race between Lewis and Keelan in the pool. Which I think...
No, 100 metres at a
100-meter swimming
pool.
race. I'm not sure the level of interest that you guys are going to get in a swimming race. Like, it's not a great spectator sport rocking up to a pool.
Yes, it is.
Oh, no.
Haven't you seen the Olympics?
Mate,
the country's going crazy over the Olympics.
I know,
mate.
and it is good. You know what? As long as we refrain from doing swimming races on the show once every 4 years, I'm happy to do it. But any more than that, too much. Too much swimming.
Deal.
I enjoy
Once
my
every 5
swimming
years.
every leap year type thing.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
the ratio.
Well, the
that I
Commonwealth
enjoy.
Games next year, does that count?
Too much swimming. I won't be tuning into the swimming in that because it's just a bit much.
Well, Luke, we're going to have to talk about it because I'm going to be in the Australian team. So
Okay,
now,
so can I give my perspective, though, of the night? That we
sure,
were
because
swimming?
currently you look like a cartoon character with smoke coming out of their ears. Keelan is furious right now. You have
Keelan, if
no
you would
idea.
like, just before you begin, I can
Yeah.
give you your perspective. Oh, shit, he's so fast. I'm going to lose. I can't believe it. He's this good already.
Okay, all right. I'll give you my perspective from someone who knows how to swim.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and you know what? I won't dispute that. You know how to swim. I've got the natural talent, obviously. You wait till I work out how to swim, mate.
Okay. Well, so
Can I just be honest? I'm shocked Lewis doesn't drown. Really, I've seen
been
you.
telling you that I was a really strong swimmer when I was a kid, but then
I
I stopped
know.
for 10 years and still somehow I've got it.
I've seen you do on-land sports, and
Yeah.
you just don't come off like a guy who's particularly amphibious. That's all. You just don't
Look,
give off that vibe.
I'll be 100% honest with you, Keelan. When we found out Keelan's time, and then I found out my time, I was like, "What?"
Well, okay.
the
So
fuck?
what we did is I swam about 200 meters, which is, for any of you non-swimmers, is about 8 laps, right? And Lewis did probably
heaps.
2 within that time,
2 times that. That's right.
up and back. So I did double what he did.
Oh,
and then
so what Lewis did then was he lying?
yes.
No, I
okay.
was.
And then, but at the end of every 25 meter, he'd get to the 20 meter mark and he'd stand up and go,
That is more likely. Yeah, that's what I thought was going
as
on.
I'm just doing tumble turns and lapping him every so often. And I wasn't going my hardest because I don't want to be that guy who's like, oh, look at how good I am and
Yeah, of
just
course.
constantly lap
But
and lap and lap.
when you were that guy, Keelan, was I or was I not within 2 seconds of your time?
So actually, and then as you're doing these, these couple 100 meters with me, I give you technique tips. I change your head position. I change your arm position. I change
Correct.
a lot of how you're swimming. And then we did a push off the wall looking at the digital clock, at the end of the pool. So I got about a 13-second 25-meter lap, which isn't great, but it's fine. And Lewis got about a 15 to 16 to 17. I couldn't be certain.
Was it 15? It was 15. Don't tell me it was 17. It was
is this
definitely
over-
15.
I thought he was close to you over 100 meters. He was close to you over 25.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, no, I reckon I could doggy paddle and be close over 25. That's
And
nothing.
also, I taught Lewis how to tumble turn. I taught him correct stroke technique. I taught
Incorrect.
him
I
a
have
lot.
no idea how to tumble turn.
Oi,
Well, I
Lewis.
showed you a lot.
You try it. You try it.
Lewis, can you do butterfly?
No, I tried butterfly after watching it in the Olympics. That shit is so hard.
Yeah. On the
I did a
arms.
really strong 25 meters of butterfly and then was embarrassed because all the squad kids next to me were looking at me, so I stopped.
You know, I used to do swimming squad. I don't want to flex on my glory days, but I dabbled, but I stopped very early. As soon as I got the decision, into my own hands from my parents, they're like, all right, you're probably not going to die in the surf for the rest of your life. As soon as I got to that point, I just bailed straight up. I was like, I don't want to swim in a pool.
I've been really enjoying it. I think I'm going to become a really good swimmer. I
Public
bought,
pools are gross. There's Band-Aids in them. I don't understand the appeal at all. It's like a communal bath that you're just sharing with people in Frankston.
Check out this little number. I bought these. I went to the swim store and I bought what I thought was some board shorts. They were folded in half like this, and I thought they were folded in half lengthways. I'm like, oh, they'll be long when you fold them out. And then I put them on. You can almost see my ass crack when the bottom of my ass is hanging out of these things when I put them on.
Have you worn them at the pool?
Oh yeah, heaps.
Oh, this is such a new Lewis. You're like,
I know,
turning over a new leaf. You're exercising in little underwear. What are you doing?
I have no idea what I'm
leave
doing.
for a month and you just change your whole identity. You're a dad now.
Actually, you know what I'm doing, Luke?
It's just dad energy.
I'm intimidating Keelan.
You're not intimidating me
and
at all.
I'm coming for his spot.
Yeah,
I watched you get puffed out after 20 meters of swimming.
Yeah.
Hey mate, when I get my cardio up and my new jaw, it's over for you.
Yeah, maybe. I am actually excited to do a proper race at the end of the year, like over 100 meters at a 50-meter pool.
Keelan,
it will be
I think
quite
it'll
a
be good.
spectacle.
Were you intimidated?
Yes, a little bit.
Oh, okay, good. But obviously, I mean, I didn't think, honestly, seeing Lewis in those little tight shorts, I wouldn't think there'd be anything intimidating about that sight.
Well,
But-
that's just
As
what,
soon as I
that's
put
just
those
what
tight
swimmers
shorts
wear.
on, Keelan's shorts got a little bit tighter too.
Wow.
Okay,
Jesus.
all right.
That is a HR.
It was out of work hours, and I have to say, Luke, to think
Not denying the erection.
to think that I would go to a public pool in Frankston is very low of you.
Oh,
I'm going to
where do you
Somerville.
swim?
Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. I don't know where that is, but yeah. Cool. And also, you live there, so of course I think that low of you. Like, what do you... As if you...
Yeah.
I wouldn't assume... Like, I'm assuming Lewis is going swimming in Frankston.
Yep.
Yeah, are you going... Do you reckon you'll get into ocean swimming, or are you going to keep to the pool?
No, I'm liking doing laps and like trying to the technique and everything because it started. The reason I got into it was I was teaching my son how to swim because he didn't even know how to float.
Right.
So I get in the pool, I start giving him all these tips that because I used to be a really strong swimmer when I was like 13, back when I was my son's age. But then I started getting into it, and then I was like, man, I forgot that I loved swimming. And then I knew Keelan was into it. I got him to give me some tips, and I've like fallen in love with it again. So I think I'm gonna keep up with it. I was really bummed about lockdown because obviously it makes shows harder. But the real issue is I can't swim anymore. So
Shit.
that's
Maybe
what
I
I'm
need to
hoping
get
for.
back into bat tennis. That's what I used to excel at when I was 13.
What's bat tennis?
Do you remember the primary school? Do you just have in-school sports where you play with like the wooden bat and the tennis ball, and it's like a mini tennis court over like the... Do you guys remember that?
we
didn't have that?
played tennis, man.
Oh, that must be nice. All right, we didn't go to a school that had tennis courts. Jesus. No, it was a primary school thing. It was like a grade 5, grade 6 sport. I feel like some people know what I'm talking about. Other people will be like, what the fuck is bat tennis? It's almost like a 4-square court, but it's bat tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Right, well, yeah, Keelan and I, by the end of it, we swam for over an hour. We exhausted ourselves, and I got a lot better because of Keelan's tips. Keelan is very good. And by the end of it, we did what every, like, amateur male does after they do one thing once. Man, we should start a team. We should start a swim team and start going to swim meets.
Yeah. We were talking about doing making a swim team, relay team, because I know that Joseph also swims sometimes. We could do me, Joseph
Green.
and Lewis, and then go to local meets and get a really good swimmer on our team.
Yes, I was going to say...
Mac Horton or something to just join us for a couple relays.
Yeah,
I'd
the Big Mac.
prefer to, if it's okay with you, to not be there for that. You know, and that's just a personal thing. Which
You
is
wouldn't
like,
want to come and spectate that?
I do want to see Lewis try and swim. That interests me. You've definitely piqued
You know what
my
I
interest.
think, Keelan? You know what I think, Keelan?
What's that?
I think that Luke is threatened by our passion for the pool because all of a sudden, you know, he's going to go from the fit, sporty guy on the show to the lazy, dry slob.
That's not true at all. I've been smashing the well gym, actually. I've been running in Darwin when it was like 30 degrees. Haven't run in Perth yet, but I'm just adjusting to the climate. But once I, get to a point where I feel like I can run, which might be tomorrow. I will.
Mm-hmm.
So, also could probably smoke here in swimming off no training.
Would you join us for a race at the end of the year?
So you think, Luke?
I reckon I could apply my running fitness to the pool. Look, not over a long distance because I'm really bad at swimming. But
this
I reckon
won't be a long distance thing.
It's 100 meters.
100
yeah,
meters
that's heaps, dude. Like
More
than one
that's
lap.
A sprint.
No, I get really tired after a lap usually in the pool.
Okay, well, how about this, Luke? How about this?
Yeah.
At the end of the year, right? If we've been able to do enough training, who knows what will happen with lockdown? At the end of the year, right? How about Keelan and I will have a 100-meter race?
Yeah.
And then also the three of us will have a 50-meter race.
What
in the
about
pool? And you train on land, we'll train in the sea, and we'll see who comes out on top. If you're so confident with your dry training.
Can I race the loser of your race? Like it's like the bronze medal match, in the Olympics, but it doesn't really mean anything.
Okay, so you're going to race
What's
the
the
guy
silver
who
medal
lost,
match?
who's also burnt out from racing his hardest.
Yeah.
All right.
I want to
I think
get
that's fair.
the loser at their most tired, and I reckon
burnt out loser.
Yeah, burnt out. I reckon I could beat a burnt out loser in the pool.
All right. Well, how much recovery time does the burnt out loser have?
60 seconds.
No, not 60 seconds. No way.
I want you to be puffing when you jump in, because I've seen you. Like I know you have asthma, so I reckon I can beat you.
Well, you're not going to be racing me, Luke. This is the thing. So don't base your
I
whole
will. It'll be you.
strategy on racing me. You're going to be racing Keelan. If you're racing the loser.
Right. Well, either way, I'm going to be probably racing someone with heart or respiratory issues, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, you'll be racing someone who's an at-risk person.
Although, can I actually say, just this is a point to you. When we were in Queensland, right before shit hit the fan after the music festival, we had like a 10-meter race at the hotel pool where we all were like at one end. We're like, all right, let's swim to the other end and race. I will admit, I came last by like 3 meters in a 10-meter race.
Yeah.
Like 30.
And
like,
Luke was shocked. Luke
I
was absolutely shocked.
I was
And
not
this
shocked.
is what I do. I shock people, All these people listening thinking I'm going to lose. Guess what? I'm going to shock you. That's why they call me Shocker Spears in the pool.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Well, I guess I'm not around your pool friends, so I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't get take your word it's a swim meet thing.
Yeah. Well, we can maybe tee up some kind of race, but yeah, dude, I reckon I just honestly think unless you do improve your current fitness, I can't imagine you even completing it at the moment. Like I reckon if I make it to the end, and that's another rule. Apparently, you're a big fan of putting your feet on the ground. You're not allowed to touch the ground either.
Okay, so the reason why I was touching the ground at the end of the pool was because I was trying to learn tumbles, and I worked out in the shallow, and if I try and do a somersault, I'm going to give myself a concussion on the bottom of the pool.
Yeah. You should
That's
maybe
not true. Not true. If you do it properly, you won't do that.
Well, I don't know how to do it properly. That's why I was protecting myself.
You know what?
Okay,
Here's the thing. I reckon, with goggles on and swimming properly, I'd be all right. Because whenever I swim, I'd hate putting my head under pools because they're just gross, and I don't like the chlorine. So when I was doing this race with you guys, I wasn't putting my head under. I was just kind of doing that above head freestyle, which is not efficient at all.
You probably weren't streamlined or using correct technique either.
Yeah,
I don't need that.
I bet he has
alone.
no idea how to even pull properly.
Pull.
Wait. This might only be funny to people who swim, but Lewis goes to me.
I'm excited for this because I bet I'm going to really relate.
Lewis goes to me right at the end of our session, and he goes, "Man, you go so far underwater. You push off and you go 10 meters." And I was like, "Yeah, because I'm kicking underwater." And he goes, "Oh, you kick underwater."
No, dude, that's funny for everyone. That's a pretty
I
universal.
never said I was a pro. I said I'll surprise you. I've got a natural ability.
Dude,
I'm a shocker.
There's nothing surprising about this. The fact that you hadn't even had the thought, what about if I move my legs to propel myself under the water? It gives me all the confidence that I need. Dude, I'll race the winner.
And
Fucking
Luke,
hell.
Right. Imagine if imagine if you stood next to someone, right, in a running race, right, and you raced the guy, and just before you started running, the guy went, "Oh, are you supposed to like push off with your feet and wear shoes?"
Yeah.
And you were like, "What a moron!" Of course, but then imagine if that guy was only 2 seconds slower than you. What would you be thinking?
It's
I'm
not
embarrassed and intimidated.
It's not fair over 25
You'd be intimidated,
meters.
wouldn't you? You'd be thinking, this guy better not train because if he does, he's going to beat me.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do 100 meters against you and fucking destroy.
Oh, yeah,
Hey,
dude, Keelan will smash you. Keelan's really good at
I'm going to
swimming.
make you question who you are. You're going to be like, I thought I was the swim guy.
Actually, you know what I realized? We'd have a great relay. If Lewis took up cycling, we'd have a really good triathlon, like, between us.
Yeah.
I've started cycling. I bought a road bike the other week.
Oh, great. So Lewis just needs to cover the swim. But again, I'd much rather you in the pool. Yeah, Lewis, anyway, I know I've been talking about swimming for a long time, but yeah, dude, you're not going to beat Keelan. Like, he's really good.
Mate, hey, we can move on. All I'll say is just wait till I start kicking.
True.
Hey, this episode is sponsored by the best underwear in the game. Nobby Underwear, nobby.com.au. Use code SOUNDOFF for $5 off your first pair. Luke's wearing them. I'm wearing them. They're the most comfortable underwear in the game, and they're really cool.
I'm wearing my Shark ones at the moment. A few people showed me their Nobbies last night. Very good to see. Good to see game supporting game, you know, legends supporting legends, because they are lovely people. We love the people at Nobby. And if you want to join the Undie Club, you can get $5 off your first pair if you sign up with the code SOUNDOFF. That's it. That's all it takes.
That's an incredible deal, and it's so good that you don't need anything else with that. Just $5 off your first pair. Really good stuff. Ladies, they do bras. They do little undies.
Yep.
You know, they do comfortable ones. They do little sexy ones. They're really great. Get a box for your box.
Yep. Get a package for your package if you're a male. We would recommend nobby.com.au. Support the brands that keep this show alive. You know, we're running on fumes over Zoom, but Nobby is still there backing us, which we appreciate.
And
so
what do
much.
those fumes smell like, Luke? Comfortable balls.
Yes, really, and comfortable boxes as well.
Yeah, that's right. So nobby.com.au, use code SOUNDOFF and get the best underwear in the game. Let's get back to the show.
Okay, Lewis. So. GIMP Fest, obviously fast approaching. It's next year, so we're under a year away now.
We are, and I have a concern with GIMP Fest. I've noticed, right? Obviously, we've been planning GIMP Fest, but and we've been thinking like, oh, this is going to be the premier event, the biggest event that's ever come to Gympie. This is going to be the biggest thing that's ever hit the town. And we were thinking that there are barely any other events that are going to even come close to GIMP Fest next year.
And just a quick recap, we are planning on doing a big live show in the Queensland town of Gympie next year, because Lewis, when he went there a few years ago for a show, he sold 17 tickets. One of them was a mannequin. He swore to never go back. And now we're going there for the redemption story, to do one big show in Gympie to prove that you can sell out a show in Gympie. And really just it's a second chance, you know?
It's a chance at redemption. We have a rule. If you live within 40 kilometres of Gympie, attendance is mandatory.
No, 4 hours. 4 hours.
Sorry, 4 hours within. Sorry, those are COVID rules I'm spitting out of my brain.
40 kilometers. Like, dude, there's no one lives within 40 kilometers of Gympie. It's Gympie.
That's a fucking COVID restriction that I'm just saying. That's all I've been reading about. If you live within 4 hours of Gympie, attendance is mandatory. Outside that radius, attendance is optional, but heavily encouraged.
Heavily encouraged.
And I thought that this event that we were planning was going to be, you know, one of the only events that Gympie has ever seen. But I think, Luke, before we get into what you're going to say, I think an event is trying to steal our thunder here a little bit. And really? I'm a bit concerned. Yeah. I have here in my phone a poster for an event in August 28th, 2021 in Gympie. So it's coming up, right? And it's going to be huge, okay? It seems like it could be bigger than GIMPFest, all right? I'm a little bit worried. It's called the Worldwide Rally for Freedom in Gympie on August 28th. Now, it's worldwide, Luke. Now, we've only said that ours is GIMPFest. Ours is like within 4 hours wide. The entire world is coming to this rally. I don't know what it's about. I'm not sure. It says going ahead no matter what. Hit them while they're still rattled rally. I don't know who they're talking about or what it's about, but it seems big. And I'm a little bit concerned.
I also got sent this during the week, actually. I've seen that poster before. A few fans sent it my way. And Lewis,
the whole world's going.
I don't think, because this event may be going ahead, or will be, no matter what, going ahead August 28th, I don't think there'll be anyone left in Gympie. Definitely not old people, that's for sure. We're not going to be hitting the elderly market because there won't be one when we get there after this rally takes place.
I'm not sure what it's about, but it's huge. Like, the whole world's going. It's bigger than the Olympics.
Yeah, shit, because not even North Korea go to the Olympics anymore, so that's...
I know.
I mean, Kim Jong-un might be there. That'd be crazy.
So look, I'm not sure, if there is too much competition there. Hopefully GIMPFest will still go ahead after this rally, whatever that's about. Yep. But I am just putting it out there that that's pretty big competition. So if we want GIMPFest to really be the biggest show Gympie's ever seen, we're going to need to open this up to like an interplanetary species to attend.
Yeah, I mean, well, everyone's welcome. So if you're listening from Mars, come on down. We'd love to have you there. It's just Gympie, Australia, Earth. That's where we're going to be holding the event. But there also a few international people have RSVP'd, saying if international travel's open, they're going to make the trip, which is crazy. But also, it's not that ridiculous. It's like, if you were ever going to come to Australia, like GIMPFest is the time to do it. It's going to be one of the biggest events happening that weekend in the South Queensland region, in particular Gympie. Lewis, I was in Perth last night, which for international listeners, if you're not familiar with Australia's geography, Perth is on the other side of the country. We're talking 4.5 hour flight away from Brisbane, the closest airport, airport to Gympie.
Now, and when we say radius, we mean 4 hour drive, not 4 hour flight. We're talking driving or walking. If you can walk there in 4 hours, you got to attend.
Yeah, no. I reckon driving hour of 4 hour driving radius is the mandatory. But these people, they're not even within a 4 hour flying radius. I would say they're within a 2 day, 3 day driving radius.
About as far away as you can get.
I honestly wasn't expecting anyone after the show last night to RSVP in the line. It's been happening a lot of shows in the meet and greet. People are like, mate, see you in Gympie, can't wait. That's been happening on the East Coast. Yeah. Dude, I'm not exaggerating here. I reckon minimum 40 people RSVP'd. Like, so many. 40 out of 1,000. That's almost 5%.
Well, hang on. Out of the 1,000 people saw the show, but out of 500 people who stayed to meet you,
almost
so that
10%.
40 is probably more like 80.
Yeah, because true. Some people would probably just left and I'll see him in GIMPFest, so I'm not going to bother to wait around.
Yeah,
dude, it blew my mind. And they were just like, oh yeah, I'll be there, sure. No, and all these people I'll figure it out. I might quit my job. Don't worry about it. I'll see you there. And they were one guy said, I'll probably have to quit my job. It'll be worth it. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
That is mental. 40 people from Perth are going to make the trip all the way down to Gympie to see our show.
They need to work out which flight they're all going to catch together or something. And all someone's going to have to get their light rigid bus license and drive across the Nullarbor.
We really are going to have to, closer to the event, have designated flights and we should have special, we need an indicator. If you're going to GIMPFest, you got to wear something. That a normal person wouldn't necessarily wear. Obviously Luke and Lewis merch would be the biggest one, but if you don't have something, we've got to come up with some kind of identifier to show that you're a traveller to GIMPFest. Like a top hat, but not that, but something of that obscurity where you spot someone at the terminal with a top hat and it gives you the confidence to be like, are you also travelling to GIMPFest? I am Maybe
too.
some Speedos that are way smaller than you were expecting.
Not great travelling attire, just in case it's chilly, but it shouldn't be. It's Queensland, so I guess that should be fine. Yeah, I would say Luke and Lewis merch paired with another item we'll figure that out closer to the date. Sound off below if you have any ideas for whatever item of clothing. We might have missed something that relates to the show here. But, anyway, we'll figure it out. Or I think maybe we should... You know what I think, Lewis? Just we need to do I Love Gimpfest merch or something like that. Or maybe I'm traveling to Gimpfest merch. And then people just wear that at the airport. And then they see someone else with the I'm traveling to Gimpfest.
I really like I'm traveling to Gimpfest merch. That's really funny. That's really good.
Imagine how good it would be if you spotted someone like in the food court of your airport with the I'm traveling to Gimpfest merch. You'd be like, dude, we are best friends now. I'm also going to Gimpfest.
That's really, really good. I like that.
Fucking hilarious. That'd be great. So you know how I said, Lewis, that we might have to do a matinee show, and then I said I've been getting so much excitement that we might have to do a dawn service, right?
Yeah.
My new prediction: we're gonna put the first show on sale, like the main show, the night event. Mark my words, sold out in an hour. The theater.
An hour. Sold out in an hour.
Of course, because people have to take off work and stuff. To they'll be securing their tickets within an hour. We will say they're going to sell at this time. Watch them sell out in under an hour.
We're gonna have. You know what we're gonna have to do? We're gonna have to set up some kind of exclusive mailing list.
Yes.
To make sure, or some text line or something. We'll set something up.
They're gonna be hard to get.
And once it's set up, we can start plugging it in every episode. Put your info in. And we'll get an idea.
I was talking to this about Meg last night. It's probably more of an off-air discussion, but I'm happy to have it on air. It's a Zoom episode.
This is a Zoom episode, Luke. Yes. So discuss away.
Yeah. True. I don't think anyone's still tuning in after the 20 minutes of swimming chat. Anyway, so it's probably just us.
Actually, I think viewers spiked at the swimming chat.
I did hear that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I heard that all the
hearing
comments
a lot
are
of things
saying
at the pool,
how much they love swimming chat. Apparently, Mac Horton listened to that part as well.
Really?
Yeah, I've also heard that. And Luke, when you are such a natural talent as I am, sometimes you will get a crowd around you while you're doing laps. Like, what do you mean? This is this guy's first time ever trying to swim fast, and he's only 2 seconds behind the guy who thought he would make it to the Olympics. That's crazy.
Yeah. Did you actually swim at a good level, Keelan?
Not at the Olympic level at all. I made it to like really good position at the States and was about to go to nationals and then got an injury, which
and nationals is one step before Olympics, so he's one step before the Olympics.
Yeah. So actually, the Olympic Committee, Team Australia, Team Dolphins are actually all of them are watching this episode together.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it almost sounds like Lewis is really clutching at straws to make himself better by comparing himself to you.
That's right,
mate. Yeah. You're gonna be clutching at a life-saving device when you try and get to the end of the pool.
By the sounds of it, you already were the other day. But yes, I was talking to Meg about Gimpfest, right? And I was like, Meg, obviously we're going to probably have to do a few shows like that just to keep up with the crazy demand. Now, there was talk of a triple pass where people come to all three shows if they're just in case there was a dawn service. Because here's the thing, I understand people are going to Gympie for the weekend that they're going to want to go to all the events that are on, right? But at the same time, we're putting on the extra show so new people can come, right? Because in case the first one sells out, a different group of people can attend each show. Course. Is it an honesty system? Like, if you've already got tickets to one, do you swear not to buy one for the matinee? Like, or are we encouraging people to come to all three? It's just, I know this is probably more of an off-air discussion, but it is confusing.
Well, there's kind of two ways to do it, right? You could either set up I bet you could set up a system that excludes people who have already bought this thing from buying that thing. You could probably do that.
Probably.
Or you could just go, hey, it's a free-for-all and a frenzy. And you just let people do whatever they want, and then maybe what you'll then see, Luke, is tickets to Gimpfest Show 2 being flipped on eBay by someone who saw Show 1 for $10,000 a ticket. That might happen. I might do that myself. I might buy 10 tickets to all three and sell them at increasingly higher prices.
That's a great idea. We should do that to try and pay for the event. Actually, That we should start flipping our own tickets.
That's a good idea.
Really smart. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to bring that up. And also, a couple of people have like brought it up to me. People I've bumped into interstate and stuff. They're like, other than the main show, like, because it's, I guess we're spruiking it like it's a festival. They're like, what else is going to be going on? And it's a good question. There's people traveling across the country and some people planning to travel across the world. What else are actually offering?
Well, okay.
Other than
this is probably also an off-air discussion, but this is a Zoom episode, so we'll do it here.
It's now just a GIMPFest planning meeting. This is
entirely if we really sell out. Let's say our most let's not count on a crazy thing happening. So let's just keep it reasonable. When we sell out the fourth show, right? 4,000 tickets in Gympie. When that happens, now we're there for at least 2 days, 2 shows a night, right? Yep. So it really starts to lean into the fest part of the name, festival, right?
It leans into something having to happen at 3 p.m.
Yeah. So once we sell out the 4th, 5th, 6th show, then we start needing to think about what are the people who saw the first show going to do for the other 4 days. And that's when we might have to start inviting other comedians to book out smaller venues to do their shows. And it turns into a real festival.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, right. So like we do the big theatre and then Tom and Frenchie do the parking lot or something like that. Or like the bit around the side
maybe
where
the
skips
bathroom
are.
in the theatre. Maybe the bathroom. The disabled bathroom.
A single cubicle.
Yeah.
Festivals also have like markets, so maybe we could do a Luke and Lewis market.
I like that.
Yep. It would be actually good to get Ruben doing maybe a solo podcast for his podcast. He just gets on stage and just like talks to himself.
Yeah, I mean, we could all do that. We all have solo podcasts. Like there could be. I mean, we could also potentially. Now, I'm sure that you'll be as against this as I am, Luke. There's no way I would ever let the resurgence of the Keelan and.
No, it's fine. You know what? I'm glad that didn't come through on the recording.
What did you say?
He said the resurgence of the Keelan, and then life decided to shut him down because we don't need to talk about the Keelan and Ruben podcast. I'm glad. That was
what do you guys...
I was going to say, before God intervened, if, obviously we would not be okay with having the Keelan and Ruben podcast at GIMPFest, but if they wanted to jump in a car and drive a few hours down the road and do it in a different town, I would be okay with that.
What do you think about me doing like my, signature stand-up as a show? And I'll take the dawn service slot or the midnight slot.
So it's like $10 and it's just a 10-minute show. And then that'd be so good.
I'll do an hour.
No, you
don't
won't.
Do an hour.
You don't have an hour?
No, I really like the idea of like people packing into a theatre at 6 a.m. for a 10-minute show just before breakfast or something. And then we do breakfast in the foyer afterwards or something like that.
Yeah.
Would you guys come to the 6 a.m. show to support me?
Absolutely not. I need my beauty suit, mate.
So would I have to do everything like cameras, sound, lights, everything by myself?
Yeah, look, I might watch some of the video when it's done. I'll skim through it.
All right, deal. I'm doing the dawn service and the midnight sessions.
Lewis.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the towns. I think it's very very fitting. Either I'm thinking this is just on the town names alone, or the town just outside of Gympie. Perhaps we could book a little venue for the Keelan and Ruben podcast, and people have to travel out to a place called Pie Creek, and just watch that, and then travel back into town.
I really like banishing them from the town to do their shit show.
There's also a place called Tam Marie. There's a lot of. It seems like there's a lot of shitholes around the area.
I like that. Okay, so the Keelan and Ruben show is banished from Gympie. They can do it in the town over, but here's the deal. Dude, if you go and see that show and you see us, when you come back to Gympie, if you see me and Luke, you can see the show, that's fine, but you have to apologize to us.
Yeah. There's a place called Scrubby Creek.
I like that.
Scrubby Creek. Yeah. Great. Well, we've almost hit the 40-minute mark. We did have other things to talk about, but
I want to talk about your Perth show, Luke.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
we got a bit derailed there with the swim chat. Luke, you did 1,000 people in Perth, which is the biggest show by far you've done, much bigger than anything I've done as well. I was supposed to open for you. Keelan was going to be there to also film and definitely not open. But I'm really bummed that we missed it. What was it like?
Yeah, it was like the roar when I came out was like the loudest thing I've ever heard. Like that was the coolest shit ever. I didn't even know what to do. I was like, what the fuck? Like I can't believe this many people showed up. Like I was just,
amazing.
it's so weird. Like, you know, I don't know, like you've gone to see shows of like comedians that in theaters before, like, you know, and stuff. I'm like, oh man, maybe one day in like 20 years I could do a theater that big or something. And it felt like just, yeah, it was a dream come true. It was very cool. Thank you very much to everyone who came out in Perth. People loved it, man. I was also worried of just the fact that like we're not used to performing in venues that big, and it's definitely like a way different thing. I've probably feel most comfortable in like a 300 seater comedy club style room. Like that's where we usually perform at, and it's intimate. You can see people's faces and stuff. It's so weird. You have to wait ages. Like we used to tell a joke, and then like takes forever for people to laugh. So you really have to like slow down. I noticed. Like I went out there and I was like doing all the jokes at a normal pace, and I was like, oh, I'm talking over them laughing.
Oh, because you have to wait for that many people to stop laughing before you continue on.
It's like 5 times the amount of people laughing.
I did 450, and that blew my mind. I was like, wow, that's so big and crazy and loud. But doing more than double that is mental.
And when you like rip someone a new asshole, like if there was like a really bad heckler, she was this drunk woman, she was just screaming, like no one could understand her, and I just like kept on like full on slamming her, and every time just like the room would just erupt because people were getting so angry, like she's ruining their night for them. I probably should have kicked her out, but I didn't want to seem like a dick. I didn't want like my first theater show to be like soured because I was like, hey, can you get this person out? Like I was just like, and she was just like ruining it for people around her. Like people after the show were like, oh, I can't believe you didn't kick her out.
After I've had like a terrible person, after that one at my comedy special that ruined your set and almost mine, I now have like a no tolerance policy for people who are ruining it. I don't mind participation, but people who are ruining it,
I think she was just so drunk she didn't realize she was ruining it for everyone, and she was like screaming shit that no one could understand. But I guess out of 1,000 there's always going to be one. Right, that's just society.
The chances are more likely. I guess you need. I think you need to be more brutal because we saw Jim Jeffries and he had to boot a guy out, and that guy got literally carried out on the shoulders of about 6 security guards. I think if you're performing to a big amount of people, chances are one of them is going to be an idiot.
Yeah, I couldn't even understand her. Like she was like, "Oh, I'm not from here," and it was like the most Perth shit ever. Just like me, she told me to fuck off back where I came from. Right? That's she was like, go back there. And I was like, she wasn't Australian, right? And dude, I will admit, I got caught up in the Perth spirit, right? I know. I was like, I became a local for a second. I just straight up just told this woman to fuck off back to South America. And the roar that it got from a crowd that is so used to telling people to fuck off back to where they came from.
Yeah.
The only place in Australia where that would get a laugh, for sure.
I think so.
It was so good, dude. I was like, she'd already ruined the show for like 45 minutes, and I could tell people were getting really annoyed, right? And I was getting annoyed by it. And then I was talking to this one girl, and I was like, what do you do? She's like, oh, I'm a disability worker, like a support worker. And I was like, oh, cool. Can you fucking help her? And I'll be honest, I've never heard a louder thing in my life. People were just fucking yes. It was so good, dude.
That's so cool. And I'm bummed I missed it. Quarantine sucks.
I know. COVID sucks. We should bash it. It's shit. But yeah, I don't know. It was very cool. And it was honestly surreal. Honestly, by like 45 minutes in, I kind of forgot. Like it just felt normal. I was just doing a show. But the first 5 minutes, I was like, what is going on? I didn't know how to start. I was like, it's so stupid like pretending, like treating it differently. But it's so hard to not. Like, before I went on stage, I was like, it's a normal show. Who cares? Like, it's not a big deal. And then I actually wasn't that nervous until like 5 minutes before. As soon as the opener went on, John Pinder, who crushed it, he's a hilarious Perth comic. He went on and just started murdering, right? Because I'd never heard 1,000 people laugh from backstage before. So I was like, oh my God, like he's crushing. Like I've never got a laugh that big before.
And you haven't because it's just the amount of people. Like I felt like that when I did my first 300 and you opened, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Luke's at another level, and it's
it's just how loud it is. And then I went on and was again like I was like, oh, okay, cool. It's just like the crowd, because I was like to Meg, I was like, oh my god, like dude, he's crushing. Like I can't listen to him. Like I just like walked out. I was like, I can't listen to this because I'm just gonna freak out.
Yeah, but when you got on, he was actually texting me, and he's actually retired now.
Yeah,
because you just annihilated so hard that he was like, man, that's it for me. I can't top that. I'm quitting. And he had a good run.
And that's no disrespect to John as well. He did a great job, but you can't top the fog bit, dude. You made me do that bit in a theater, and I was so angry at you in that moment. I was furious. Dude, no, it literally like, I was like, oh, I'm just going to move on for like this girl. And then people just started going, fuck, bit. But not like chanting, just random like points of the room. People just screaming it randomly. So I think, I'm like, I'll do it. But people in Perth, like, they're so impatient. Like, I would finish one joke and they'd be like, fog bit? And I'd be like, not yet.
That's like when you get your dog to do a trick and he's like, food now? You're like, no, one more.
Wait, be patient. And dude, it's just so annoying because you know what?
and how did my client go? Because to new listeners, I'm the official representative of the fog bit. It's the best piece of stand up of all time. How did my client do?
Oh man, it murdered. I mean, look at my stories. Course. People put on their stories. It was the best bit of the show. Can't believe I heard it. What a thrill. It brought the house down. It was great. But I want to thank everyone who like listens to the show. So many podcast listeners, because like, and so many people RSVPing to GimFest. Like the thing that we've created here is so fucking cool, and it's got so big, and obviously like TikTok and other platforms and stuff have helped out. But really, you guys like make it all possible, because I wouldn't have got to that level if it wasn't for the people listening to our radio show.
Are like the spine of everything that
exactly.
we do. That's kind of how I view it. Is like the other platforms might be bigger, but you guys are like what holds it all together.
I love it when you can tell a podcast listener in the meet and greet. It's so good. Like you meet a bunch of people like, oh man, I watch you on TikTok, and that's so cool as well. But then you just the next person in line, you're like, oh, how you going? You put out your hand and they go, hello. And you're like, oh,
just
dude.
Confusing everyone else.
It's so good. I'm just like, oh, hello. And then everyone else in the line is like, what the fuck? It was very good. It was very cool. I was super bummed you guys weren't there.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Next time, whenever this all blows over, and I'm really hoping that I get to do some of my shows. At the moment, I think it looks like I'll be emailing people. It looks like I'll be cancelling the first 3 shows of my tour. Yes! But hopefully I'll get to do the other ones. I don't know. It's not up to me. I'm like, I'm not spending any of the money, obviously. So buy tickets because they are selling really well. So that if they do happen, you don't miss out. I wouldn't wait on buying tickets because they are selling well. And then, we'll reschedule it or refund if they don't happen. So I hope they happen. That's all I can say. Before we go, we got to talk about Patreon movie night. We watched, for the first time, apparently, Space Jam.
Yes, Lewis was actually still getting annoyed. He got 22 minutes in, but fairly asked, wait, when does the basketball start this time? Which is a good question in a basketball film.
Well, last Patreon movie night, I thought we were watching Space Jam, right? Turns out we were watching the Looney Tunes movie. I get 45 minutes into it, and I go, when does the basketball start? And over 100 Patreon supporters just start bullying me, and I don't even remember the end of the movie. That's how embarrassed I was. Then Keelan's like, okay, well, because that happened, let's watch the actual Space Jam. I'm like, okay, cool. And then we get 20 minutes into this fucking basketball movie, and the only sport I've seen is baseball for 20 minutes.
Baseball and
I'm
golf.
Like, have I been stitched up again? Am I watching some weird offshoot like telly movie about baseball? I'm like, but I don't want to ask. I'm burned. I'm like, I'm not going to ask when does the basketball start, but I'm watching baseball. I'm like, well, I know that's Michael Jordan, but he's fucking playing baseball. When does the basketball start?
Yeah, dude, it was a lot of fun. I haven't watched that movie in ages, but thanks to everyone who jumped on the Patreon. It was a bit of bloody fun.
Yes.
Oh, actually, and just also before we wrap up, so join the Patreon, by the way. It's cool. It's good fun, the Discord. Also, I've got to tell you, a guy sent me, it was just, I don't know why it fucking made me laugh. It was, someone sent me a picture of him standing outside of Kidgel Street in Gympie under the street sign, and he just said, avoiding the queues early.
He got early access.
Yeah,
oh,
early
man,
access.
What a king.
It was so good. He's like, well, now he doesn't have to get his photo in GimpFest because there will be queues. So
Oh, there's going to be a big line. That's so funny. We should post that on our Instagram. That's hilarious. He got there early. See, and that's how big GimpFest is going to be, guys. Like, I know it's very funny to think, oh yeah, GimpFest, no one's going to turn up, just like last time. Guys, people are already going there just to take photos with the Kidgel Street sign.
Oh yeah,
it's going to sell out in an hour. You heard it here first. I'm going to be in the Olympics.
I mean, that's nothing to do with GimpFest, but sure. And also, the Olympics have just happened. So, are you going for LA 2024? I think is that where the Olympics
Mate, I've got 4 years to train. You know, with Keelan as my coach, anything's possible.
Yeah, great.
I'm actually going to the Commonwealth Games next year.
Whereabouts are they?
England.
Yeah,
Birmingham?
you know, Brisbane got the Olympics in like 2032 or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe those were games, Lewis, if you're still in your form. I mean, how far away is that? You'll be like late 30s. But
all right, so I'm 27, which is not old. I'm a very young father.
9 years.
27. Realistically,
no.
If I trained every single day like an Olympian, do you reckon I would have a shot at definitely not medaling, but competing in the Australian team? Could it be possible?
So this actually happened, and there's a series about it on Amazon Prime about Cody Simpson who tried, and he just missed out on qualifying by like that much.
But he was also an elite swimmer when he was a teenager before the singing career.
Well, I was an elite swimmer as a child, so...
Yeah, but I reckon you could do it in a sport that's harder to do. In Australia, we have
swimming
such
is probably
strong
too
swim
popular.
Team. Or if you started doing archery now, like maybe... for 9 years.
The world
day.
record for
I
100 meters freestyle is like
the,
46 seconds, I think.
I might get the sport wrong, but I'm pretty sure I read that a woman who's like 34 years old started running for fun after her pregnancy for fitness, and then she ended up in the Olympics.
Yeah. She does the marathon, doesn't she?
I'm not sure what sport it was. I just skimmed through the headline, and that
Again,
made me
that's
go,
a
you know
thing
what? I
that's
reckon
like-
I've got a shot.
I reckon if you like make the Olympics and stuff, like, yeah, you could probably do it in the marathon if you just persisted, because that's one of those things where it's a lot of it is based off fitness and like mental strength. It's just like if you can be fucked to
Mental
do it.
toughness is like such
And
a
not
big
not
thing.
many people are like queuing up, like putting out their hands, like, oh, I want to run 42 kilometers.
No, it's not not fun, is it?
It's not the most popular sport. Like 100-meter sprint's a bit more popular amongst young people.
Have you guys
I've
seen...
never looked at a guy who's like 50 kilos shitting and vomiting at the same time at the end of a race and going, man, I want to do that.
Should give that a go.
Yeah, there's a video of after like a massive run at the start of this year's Olympics where there's all these runners, and as they're crossing the line, they're just collapsing, and all the official people are just like picking them up
Yeah, I
and
think
carrying
that
them
was-
to first aid.
It was the end of the triathlon, I think, that was happening. Because it was so hot in Tokyo.
Yeah, it was
like,
the heat, yeah. Because that happened to the men's, and then the next day, the women at the end of their race seemed fine, and like the only real difference was the weather.
Yeah. Well, that's the end. Thanks very much for tuning in. We will have a guest episode during the week, I believe.
Yep.
Yes.
And if you're out there, you're listening, and you're an ex or current Olympic swimmer, send us a DM, and we'll get you on the swim team that Keelan and I are starting. Yep. Mate, I'll take Cody Simpson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I was going to say, will you accept a Grant Hackett? Or also, do they do like mixed? You know, will we accept a Liesl Jones? Or
Absolutely, yeah. We'll do it. We'll join a mixed relay. I would absolutely love to just show up to some like strange amateur swim meet, and then me and Keelan swim, and we might be like placing like 4th or 5th, probably 6th, right?
That's good. Then you have
but
a
then
secret weapon.
we've got our backup, our secret weapon, the Olympic athlete,
yeah, great.
just waiting to finish it off and
Where-
take first.
where does Cody Simpson live? Okay, I reckon we could make the trek up to Byron. I want to see that. I'd come for that for sure. Yeah, I would come to see you guys be. Oh, Bondi. Oh, okay, that's not going to happen in the next 2 years. All right, well, never mind. Scrap that.
I'm sure that out of all of our listeners, someone has got to know someone who knows an Olympian or an ex-athlete swimmer. if you are that person, reach out and see if we can get an Olympian on to join our team. It's a big opportunity for them, right?
Unfortunately, Lewis and Keelan are deadly serious about this. It's all they talk about now is swimming. And it sucks that our friendship group, and this has happened for years actually, just gets plagued usually by whatever Keelan's into. That's all we ever talk about is Keelan's interests. Yeah. And now, because Lewis and Keelan have a similar interest, I don't even get the time of day. Like, I don't even get calls anymore. They're swimming together. I'm away. They're like, oh, can you do the show, Luke? Whatever. Yeah, sure, be there. But we'll just be talking about swimming for 35 minutes of the episode.
You should see my YouTube history. It is just form analysis only. That's all I'm watching is just swimming. Jasmine goes, why are you still watching freestyle technique videos? And I'm like, well, if I can't train in the pool, I'm going to be training in my mind.
Yeah, you know what? I did that with skateboarding. Like when in quarantine, like I couldn't skate. Yeah. So I've just I was watching like videos on like how to do tricks and stuff. So like when I get out there, I'll know, you know? But it's not the same.
What
I get out there and I'm like, oh, fuck.
And Keelan, you thought I was scary before. You wait. All right, well, that's the end of the episode. We'll end it there. Thank you very much for listening, guys. Jump on Patreon if you want a bunch of extra secret episodes of the podcast. There's a big backlog up there now, a bunch of extra stuff, and that's coming out all the time as well. But shut the fuck up, all right? Join the Discord and don't tell anyone, unless you're friends with an Olympic swimmer. Get us in touch, all right? Thank you. See us on tour, lukekidgel.com, louspears.com. All the dates, info, cities, and everything are there. And hopefully they'll happen. Bye.
Bye.